everyone. I decided to do this video just with foundation, a little bit of lip gloss, just very basic makeup, because I'm not really sure how I'm gonna react. Like I said last week, I'm trying to use up all my hair gel. So like I was saying, I wasn't sure how I was going to react to this video. I just have the barest of makeup on. I don't even have mascara on. I just did my eyebrows, a little bit of eyeliner, and some lip gloss. My face is prepped, you know, and ready to go for a video, but just in case, like I said, I don't know how I'm going to react to my video. As I was saying about my hair, I'm trying to use up I bought my hair gels from Manic Panic, and it's very sticky. It's meant for like people who want to spike their hair up. So I'm just trying to get rid of it all, you know, until, and I don't think I'm going to bother with any of that anymore. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so that's that. I wanted to go over a few things. So, you know, let me just do the good news first before I get into the sad news. I didn't even have to go to Best Buy. I called the 800 number, and they said I needed to do a software update. At first, it was grayed out. I couldn't do it, but I clicked on it a couple of times, and I just walked away. When I came back, so when I came back, It upgraded, and it's been a week and it hasn't crashed on me. So that's the good news about that. And as far as the my son's you know, clinic, I know I spoke twice to my son's caseworker, and she just kept saying I need to speak to the lady in charge of meds. And when I had to go yesterday, I was prepared to speak with her. She was in a very good mood, so I figured she would give me a minute or two of her time, but I wanted to wait till I was done. You know, I didn't want to, they called my daughter or whatever, and I wouldn't be ready, because I have to go with my daughter, because she doesn't understand sometimes what the psychiatrists or, you know, are saying or whatever. So I was, you know, I had a list prepared so I could be as quick as possible. And before I left, I had to see my daughter's caseworker, and she told me that the lady at the desk, I think she's just a receptionist, is not in charge of the meds when the med lady is gone, and that she and another lady are in charge, and I could have requested to speak to them. And she also told me that there's a complaint hotline to call, you know, on the lady. When I went, like I said, the lady in charge of meds was in a great mood. She was being very nice. We were both being very nice to each other. But I really had no interaction with the receptionist at all. I told the kids, you check in. I really didn't want to see her. So at least I know now, you know, that can be taken care of, and I don't need to deal with that lady anymore. So the best news of all that I have for today is that Wet n Wild confirmed that they are restocking their highlighters. So for those of you who did not get highlighters, your chance is coming up. Be on the lookout. Check the website every day. I doubt it's going to go into stores. I doubt they're going to go through just the displays and the shipping and all of that. So I think it's only online. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. And I did, when they finally confirmed that they were going to restock those highlighters, I said in big letters, please, 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 you have to limit what a person can purchase, because it's ridiculous that people buy 10 or 15 at a time and then sell it on eBay for 10 times the price. So, you know, if you go to their Instagram, you might want to make your voices be heard. Tell them that you do not want, they need to limit how many, like 2 per person of each color, because I know people like backups, you know. So now that I got the good news out of the way, we finally had to put down our cat. So, after I made that video that she survived the night, I told you that she was waking us up crying all night long, and that me and my kids were taking turns trying to be with her, comfort her. And I noticed, I feel that she may have had either dementia or, kitty Alzheimer's, because she acted like she didn't know where she was. Like she was, a lot of times, because we were watching her, we were checking on her all day. She would like open up her eyes and she would be like, she would act like, just look around for like 5 whole minutes, like trying to figure out, where am I, And so she cried. She cried all night that Thursday, cried all night Friday, and then was crying all day Saturday. And my daughter, her, she has her anxieties and stuff, and she couldn't take it anymore. My nerves were shot. I couldn't take it anymore. I said, she's got to be suffering if she's going to be like this. So when my son finally woke up, it must have, I don't know, maybe it was about 11 o'clock. I told him, I said, we really, really need to put her down. I don't think it's fair to her. I think we're being selfish to try to keep her around for longer. And he said, Mom, I was gonna say the same thing. I think she's either in pain or she's not doing well. She's 18. We need to do it. So I went and, I called the low-cost clinic and, asked them some questions, and they were really nice on the phone. But when I got there, and excuse me is gonna be one of those times I say a bad word, but they were 2 young girls and 1 older woman, and the older one was the one who addressed me. And I'm like, you could, and my face is, I don't know what it looked like, but my face was so distressed. And I was asking a couple more questions because they said I had to pay up front. And usually, you don't pay till all the services are rendered. And I'm asking all these questions, and those 2 younger women had resting bitch face. I'm sorry, but the whole 5 minutes that I was discussing with the lady, they had that, no compassion whatsoever, just this serious face, I'm finally, I just had such a bad feeling, and I went to they told me that they're not going to make me wait, because that's torture, but that we would have to wait for a vet to be available, but I will go ahead of everybody else. There's always at least 10 people in there. And so I just had a really bad feeling, and I went to my son and I said, do you want to wait for the vet? It might be a little while. And he said, what else are we going to do? Do you have any suggestions? Because it's torture when you make the decision, and then if you change your mind, it's just torture. And the only thing I could think of was to go to the Humane Society, but from what I recall, when I was there the last time, and I think I had asked them many years ago, I don't know if the policy changed, you surrender the animal, you do not get to go back there and be with the animal. So the thing that worried me, why I asked all the questions, is because the lady that I was talking to said, we do not do the intravenous in the room. Like with Sonny, they tried that with me, and I said, absolutely not. We need to be with him at every moment, and I'm so glad we did that. That was a very, it was a negative experience. They made it as peaceful as possible. So I figured, all right, they're not gonna, cause I said we'll wait in the room, and you can bring, we'll hold her so she'll feel calm, and you could put the IV, the intravenous needle in her. And they said, no, it's not our policy. No, we can't do that. That the cat will act up because the owner's there. I hear that in some places, and all I experience is the quite opposite. But anyway, I figured, something was telling me leave, but I couldn't think of any other resolution because I know we didn't have $330 something, and it was only $109. It was. So, I said, okay. They got professional vets here. They got, they know what they're doing. They said they'll be out in about 5 minutes. Me and my son are anxiously waiting, and she comes out and says, your cat's giving us a hard time. Just want to let you know it's going to take a little longer. And I was like, but why can't we just go in there with her? And she won't give you her. Oh no, children act out when their parents are around. It's the same thing. And I'm like, whatever, and I just knew she couldn't suffer anymore. So she says, I'll come back and get you in about maybe 15 minutes. We'll bring you to the room and the cat to the room. About 15 minutes later, I don't know who she is, some technician, I don't know what she is, a vet assistant, came out. But our anxieties are through the roof, me and my sons. And she comes out and says, look, your cat is attacking us. And I need to, think of the safety of my people. And you don't want your cat to have her last moments to be one of, whatever, violence or hostility. So I need your permission to sedate her. I was like, aren't you supposed to sedate her? No, we need your permission. I thought they would say I had to go pay some more up front or something. And the thing is, they make you pay ahead. So I'm like, oh my Lord, what the heck is going on here? So she didn't make me pay. She just said, I need your permission. And I said, wait a minute, if you can't get an IV in her, how are you going to sedate her? Oh, we do it through their butt while she's clinging onto the technician. She's got her nails dug into the technician. They're gonna, they'll get her in the butt. My son flipped out. I mean, I've been feeling like that I'm going to flip out and I'm afraid I'm going to go to jail or something, and my son flipped out. I was calm because I just felt this needed to get done. I should have listened to my instinct, grab that cat and run out of there. I couldn't think of anything else. So he says, he flips out on her, if you would let us be with her, she wouldn't be flipping out, my son. And so she says, no, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've worked with the Houston Animal, whatever, and I know what I'm doing. And no, we can't do that. Plus, she said, for insurance purposes, you can't be back there. So I said, when are we gonna be able to see our cat? When are we gonna be able to be with her? And she said, give me 15 minutes. We were when you do this stuff, it's like every second is torture. We were watching that clock, and she came out at exactly 15 minutes. I was about to get up and start, what the heck's going on, and she comes exactly 15 minutes, and when we get into the room, she looked like she was dead already. My son was petting her. I was petting her. She felt so cold. She was lifeless. Her eyes were like all, And I was like, that's a pretty heavy sedation. She doesn't even know that we're here. And the lady said, she knows. All of a sudden, she went from arrogant to the nicest person in the world. I don't know. Maybe I think people just have personality disorders. I don't know. And me and my son were just patting her and kissing her. I was like, I'm so sorry. I just said, thank you for being my companion for 18 years. And my son asked for a moment, because she was like getting ready. She had the needle out and everything. A part of me believed they already killed her, you know, and this was just for show. There was probably nothing in that needle, or, you know, nothing that would do anything. And so my son asked for a moment, and I gave him a minute because my anxieties were through the roof. And just as I was about to go in, he was about to let me in. And I just kept kissing her and patting her. And she said, "Are you guys ready?" And we said yes. And she stuck, you know, she injected her. And then she injected with something else, which was a flush. And, you know, we were hysterical. We said goodbye. And she says, "Would you like to go out through the back? So, you know, you're not hysterical crying in front of people out there." And I was like, it didn't dawn on me at that moment. But I said, no, because my daughter's in the lobby. And she's like, well, ask your daughter to come to us. I said, my daughter elected not to see her this way. So, you know, we had our sunglasses on. We're in the lobby. We're hysterical. Stephanie was just, you know, hysterical crying the whole time. We get in the car. My son just lets go and lets it all out. And at that moment, I just felt, as angry as I felt relief that she wasn't suffering anymore. And, you know, I my daughter had a meetup, you know, and she said she didn't want to stay home crying. She wanted to go to the meetup. So I said, well, I'm going to hang out for like maybe 10-15 minutes in case you change your mind. So I took her to the meetup, and it was like a really nice place. She's trying to meet people. The meetup was for computer programming, or something to do with computer videos or something. And so she seemed content. And, you know, we just went to the Walgreens on the corner. We just walked around for a little bit. And I just checked on my surroundings and stuff, because I don't, you know, because she's got the disabilities, I'm afraid somebody might take advantage of her. So I was just asking a couple of questions and got a little bit familiar with the surroundings. And when I was ready to go, I said, "Are you sure you want to stay? Because I don't want to drive back out here, because these meetups, I don't know why they always got to be in Timbuktu, North Houston, or whatever." And you know, I said, "I'm not coming back till 5 o'clock when you're ready to leave, so make sure that this is what you want to do." And I guess she figured she didn't want to be away from us. I think she needed the comfort of family at that moment. And she told them, "Look, you know, we had to put our cat down today, and I'm leaving." And they were so nice and friendly and understood. I went to get her. And I was so angry. I was so angry when I got home. It finally dawned on me. She said for insurance purposes, we were not allowed back there. Yes, she was telling us we can go out through the back. I was like, what the heck? My cat did not deserve to go out like that. She was my companion, mostly my son's, for 18 years. Every time she tried to come to me, Buddy's so possessive that he would bark at her until she left. And then he'd sit on my lap like, you know, she's mine, stay away. I remember I was just so full of anger. She just didn't deserve that. I guess, as they say, you get what you pay for. Um, just remembering that, when we found her, she was a kitten. I bottle fed her for, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks. I weaned her onto regular food. She would sleep on me when sometimes me and my husband would play video games together, because we didn't have cable for 15 years, and it was just family fun. We would do this every night, and she would sleep on me, but I'd be moving the controller so much that she would leave. And and I think she got handled too much by my kids. At some point, she didn't even want to be. She didn't even want to be on my lap anymore. But she was very close to my son. We used to tease him and say, "Oh, she's your girlfriend," and she just. I never seen a cat look at somebody with love like that. I put a tissue in my eye, and I think it had cream on it or something. Now my eye's irritated. But I never saw a cat look at somebody with such love in their face. Her face would just light up, and her face would look like it was full of bliss every time she saw my son. And she would be with him at night. He was allergic to cats. One time he couldn't breathe because he just loved on her so much. I used to tease that they're boyfriend and girlfriend. I never see any cat be like that. She would purr so contentedly and wag her tail every time she was around my son. So he really took it the hardest, and my daughter was just relieved because her anxieties were through the roof. My daughter was just relieved that finally she's not suffering anymore. But I was so angry for like a week. And I might, find out if there's a way to complain against that clinic, because that should not be. Those policies should not be. That was ridiculous. That basically I was angry because her last moments were one of hostility. Strangers grabbing at her, trying to pull her out. She's scratching, she's biting. She basically had no teeth, but she had some claws on her. I hadn't cut her nails in a long time because she was just so old. I didn't want to bother her, especially in the end. I don't want to do that to her. So she must have really hurt them. It doesn't have to be that way. I don't know why there's policies like that in place. I know they used to have policies like that for children, and then I think there's some laws now saying no, a parent has to be with their child when they're at the doctor's office. And they should have the same thing for pets. They should have the same thing for pets. I was just so angry that it had to be that way, and I wished that I had done it old-fashioned Puerto Rican style. The mountains, my family, they lived in the mountains of PR, and I also noticed this in my oldest daughter's father's family that came from the mountains. They were poor as dirt, and they would have crackers with butter and coffee. That would be their food, because they couldn't afford meat and they couldn't afford anything else. And I will never ever do that again. First of all, I was mad at everybody. Why in the world would the vet charge me $330 something. I mean, I checked online because I felt guilty. What is a cat's lifespan? Because I read a long time ago, I did a lot of studying before we had computers. I went to the library, got every book I could on pets, and I heard that a cat can live up to 25 years. But, you know, we have the age of internet, and it said basically the lifespan of a cat is 15 to 18 years. So my cat had run her course. That there have been rare cases where they go longer than that. I think the oldest, I don't know if the oldest was 25 or 28. And so I knew it was time. I don't understand why my vet would charge me $50 or more for a 10-pound cat than she did for my dog, who had to have testing. I'd have the brain stem removed. $275. You know, I mean, like I said, we don't have credit. If I had credit cards, I would have done it and paid it off little by little. I don't have credit cards anymore. The last one I got rid of like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I was mad at her. I was mad at God. Because I was like, God, we just wanted more than anything else in the world for her to just go peacefully in her sleep. After that seizure, I thought it was over. But she didn't. We waited 2 days and she didn't. I was like angry at God, angry at my vet, angry at the clinic. Both me and my son were so full of anger for a few days. Never ever again will I do that to one of my pets, ever again. I don't care if I have to eat crackers. I mean, you know, sometimes I say, well, I won't eat, which is crazy. Plus, I'm diabetic, so I have to eat, but I don't care if I have to eat crackers and coffee for 2-3 weeks. I will never, ever, ever do that to one of my pets again. That was not right. And I still might try to find out how maybe I could put in a complaint about the policies of that clinic. But no, I could not do that. When I came home, I just hugged my babies. And I told them under no circumstances that they're allowed to die for at least another 10 years. No, I told them you gotta last me at least 10 years more and die peacefully in your sleep. I nicknamed my cat Mrs. Pigglethorpe, but her name is Gigi because she was gray. So we called her the gray girl, and so we just called her Gigi. And she was the queen of the house, or at least she thought she was. Me and her had to have some conversations about that. But she had my 100-pound dog scared. She's got my 2 Chihuahuas scared, except for Buddy, who I think has the Napoleon complex. I think he's got something to prove. And he used to, anytime she came near me, or came, you know, anytime he saw her, actually. But if she came near me, oh man, he'd have a heart attack and wouldn't stop barking until she got off of me. So I felt bad that for the past 2 years I haven't been able to cuddle with her. And then, you know, like I said, he'll sit on my lap as if to say, she's mine. She's my mommy. You know, nobody else can have her. And he even fights with Juju, if she comes near me. But, you know, I've just been thinking about the good times that we've had, and you know, finally came to a point this week, me, my daughter, and my son, that she is in a better place. she is at the Rainbow Bridge with Sonny. And maybe they're finally getting along. And then I'll see them again one day. I bet she's just sitting up there saying, oh, I can't wait to see my manservant, my boyfriend. That's what I used to say. That my son was her manservant, but, me and my son were talking about it last night, and I'm like, yeah, I bet she can't wait to see you, but hopefully that's going to be a long time from now. I was just imagining that when I get to that Rainbow Bridge, that she's going to be there with Sonny waiting for me. I just imagine her saying, I have to stay and wait for Steven. Mom, I can't go with you because I'm waiting for Steven. That's what I'm imagining in my head. But that's the point I got to, that it was her time. It was just her time. She did not need to suffer anymore. My mom had done that with so many of her pets, paid a small fortune to keep them alive, and I think only one of them lived a long, happy life. The other one still suffered and died anyway, It was just her time. I think she had, I don't know, dementia, Alzheimer's, I don't know what she had. But it was just her time. And keeping her around longer, I felt, was just being selfish on my part, on our part. And she is in a better place now. She's not suffering anymore. She's happy. She's content. And I'll see her again one day. And, that's the point I finally got to. And so I have peace. My son has peace. We finally have peace about it. I just regret the way it happened. I will never do that again. My pets don't deserve that. My babies don't deserve that. We need to be with them to the whole process. I wish that, of course, after the fact, I wish I'd come home and called every single vet to see who would give me a reasonable price and let me be there with her. After the fact, my head was in a fog. I hadn't slept. I wish I had done that. I know I did that with my dog, and they were all saying the same thing. And a lot of my husband's friends were saying, that's ridiculous, But maybe they also took theirs to the local clinic. I just know that I wasn't just going to surrender her like if she was a piece of trash, and I wasn't going to throw her in the garbage once it was over. I couldn't do that, So at the moment, from lack of sleep, I went with the same vet that neutered Juju. So I figured they knew what they were doing, and we'd be okay, But I will never, ever, ever do that to one of my pets again. We are together the whole time, the whole step of the way. We're gonna be together, and yeah. Okay, I'm eating crackers and coffee. At least my stomach will be full for 2 weeks on crackers and coffee. Than to let one of my pets go through that again, ever. So, anyway, I was going to try and do a makeup video. I have a doctor's appointment, so I wasn't putting on makeup for like a week, but I just started wearing makeup again the past few days. So I gotta put on makeup for my doctor anyway. So I don't know if I'll do a video or not. Well, probably not the way I'm feeling right now. Now my face is all prepped and everything to do a video, but I don't know if I could go through with it right now. You know, doing a video. So anyway, okay. I will see you guys next week. I don't, you know, I was gonna just do again something neutrally. This is Egyptian sands. I was just not in the mood to do anything fancy. But if I see you next week, I might go with something more colorful. I don't know. I know we're halfway through with the classic trios. So okay, I'll see you guys next week.